Hello. In today's video, we are going to be covering the IXL assignment on multiplying using the distributive property. But first, let's refresh our memory on what exactly the distributive property is. So the distributive property is a property that allows us to distribute or to multiply a value that is outside of the parentheses to everything that is inside of the parentheses. Now, a couple key things to recognize is the distributive property only works when the values or the terms inside of the parentheses are being added or being subtracted from one another. And the time and place that we use the distributive property is when what's inside the parentheses are not like terms. Therefore, I can't combine them by adding or subtracting. So the distributive property allows us to simplify and clear those parentheses. If we look at this first example here that's using the variables a, b, and c, we are multiplying the value a towards everything inside of the parentheses. So a times b is just ab, plus that carries on over a times c. And then the exact same thing happens if it's subtraction, only you have a subtraction sign. This example, we used xyz. We distribute, so we multiply the value on the outside of the parentheses to every value, every term on the inside. X times y, and then x times z brings us to this. And sometimes that's as simplified as you can get it. You may not have any like terms to combine, and that might just have to be your answer. If we look at the very bottom, we got a couple examples that involve some numbers as well. So this example right here, 5 times the quantity of 2x minus 7. If you're asked to simplify this, the very first thing you should do is think about the order of operations. An order of operations tells you to do any grouping symbols, which includes parentheses first. Well, when I look inside the parentheses, we have a 2x minus 7. Can I subtract those? No, because they're not like terms. That is where the distributive property comes into play. We can't subtract what's inside the parentheses, but the distributive property allows us to clear those. So 5 times 2x, which is represented right here, and then 5 times 7, which is represented right here. 5 times 2x is 10x, 5 times 7, 35, and it was a subtraction problem. So our simplified answer is 10x minus 35. And this also works, this property also works if we have 3 terms. So it doesn't matter how many terms are inside those parentheses, you distribute what's being multiplied, what's outside, to every term on the inside. All right, let's get to some examples that we can actually practice ourselves. So we'll switch on over to IXL. Okay, here we are. Here's the IXL assignment. Multiply using the distributive property, and that shortcut code is U7T. We are asked to simplify this expression, 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 3u. First off, I'm going to rewrite it, and I encourage you all to do the same on some paper at home, because when you're first starting something, it's helpful to write it out. That involves more of your brain. And if you're trying to do too many steps at once, you might get them mixed up and get it wrong if you're trying to hold it all in your brain. But there are times, though, if you get really good at something, that there can be some steps you do mentally and others you do on paper. All right, I digress. That was a bit of a side tangent there, wasn't it? All right, 2 times the quantity of 1 plus 3u. I have been told to simplify. And when I'm told to simplify, my brain goes towards order of operations, and I see that I have parentheses here. But inside the parentheses, 1 plus 3u, can I add those? No, I can't. They're not like terms, because one term, the 1, is just a number. And then our second term is a variable term because it's 3u, which means In order to simplify, in order to use that order of operations, I need to use the distributive property. So we're going to distribute this 2 to everything on the inside of the parentheses. First, we're going to multiply 2 times 1. What's 2 times 1? 2. And then I'm actually going to change my color here a little bit. And then we're also going to multiply to our second term. So 2 times 3u. And I do see a plus sign there. It's a positive. 2 times 3u would be 6u. All right. Are there any like terms I can combine? Nope. So that actually is my simplified expression. That is all that can be done. There we go. That's that. Let's try a couple more. Simplify this expression. 4 times the quantity of 6n plus 2. All right, I'm being told to simplify, so I go to order of operations. Can I work within the parentheses? Can I add 6n plus 2? Nope, they're not like terms, but I do see that there's something being multiplied outside of the parentheses, and that signals distributive property. We're going to multiply that 4 by everything inside the parentheses. So 4 times 6n, 24n, plus, can't forget that plus sign, 4 times 2, 8. Can I simplify it further? Nope, they're not like terms, which means we're done. All right, let's bump it up a notch. Ooh, this is a good one. We have some negatives involved. The nice thing is the process is the same. You just need to be careful and remember to apply your rules of integers. We have -8 times the quantity of -4 plus r. And once again, we're being asked to simplify. All right, can I simplify what's inside the parentheses? Nope, -4 and r are not like terms, but I have parentheses with a value being multiplied right outside, so distributive property. We're going to distribute, so multiply that -8 times everything inside the parentheses. All right, first, -8 times -4. Well, we remember our rules of integers when we're multiplying and dividing. If the numbers have the same sign, your answer is positive. If they have a different sign, it's negative. So here they have the same sign, a negative times a negative is a positive, which would give us 32. And we're also going to multiply -8 times a plus r. If it's a plus r, that means it's a positive r. So we have a -8 times a positive r. A negative times a positive, they have different signs. So if they have different signs, your answer is negative. So plus a -8r. And you can leave your answer like this. There is nothing wrong with it. It is considered correct, but there actually is a slightly better way to write it. The proper way, instead of writing plus a negative, would be to change that to a minus sign. But either form of your answer would be accepted and counted correct. And make sure that you don't accidentally put a space between your number and your variable. That would be bad. All right, let's go ahead and make this our final problem, okay? This time, What do you notice about the value that we're going to distribute, the value that we're multiplying? Hopefully you noted that it was written behind, it was written in the back. That's not proper form, so to be honest, you're not going to see that super often, but it is important to recognize that the distributive property still works because we still have a value, in this case 3, that is right next to the parentheses, that is being multiplied by our negative 2b plus 1. So even though it's at the back end, our rule is still the same. We're going to distribute, we are going to multiply this 3 by everything inside the parentheses, okay? So 3 times negative 2b. Ooh, our multiplication rules of integers, if they have the same sign, your answer is positive. If they have different signs, your answer is negative. So what will it be? It'll be negative because we have a negative 2b and a positive 3. They have different signs, so our answer will be negative. What is 3 times negative 2b? Negative 6b. And let me try to make sure you can tell my b from my 6. And then 3 times a plus 1, so a positive 1, would be 3. All right, any more simplifying or are we done? Yep, we're done because they're not like terms. Let's verify that it's correct. Always got to do that. I like seeing the good job. It is excellent. All right, well, you guys keep working on this. Remember to get your SMART score to a passing and acceptable level. And if you have any questions, send me an email or come to my help session. I'll be happy to help. Bye.